a medium once relegated to the fringes, now commands the attention of almost half the inhabitants of this planet, offering unrivaled immersion when compared to its literary and cinematic counterparts, by elevating the status of the end recipient from being more than just an observer. They become part of the spectacle. They shape it, mold it, control it. It is for precisely this reason so many have an affinity with gaming, a gateway into innumerable worlds, an escape for many from the harsh realities of life, or the mundane monotony of the machinery that they're all forced to prescribe to. Technological advancements help propel the medium further, enabling the master builders to better realize their visions so that we can explore the intricacies of their designs. But all this is challenged by the fact that everything is built around a world where the primary currency isn't creativity, efficiency, value, productivity, homogeny, profitability. These are some of the inescapable standards that often force the hands of the designers so that their visions become what they are, the final product in this gaming industry. Is this industry heading in a direction where the lower barriers for entry are undermined by customs forced by commerciality? Or is it a vibrant, unique and creative landscape, the one that this medium deserves and one that it should or could be? Look how far we've come. We were once greeted by a handful of sprites. We strained our eyes and used our imagination to fill in the blanks. Over time, those sprites and 8-bit graphics became detailed textures, became realistic models, became immersive worlds. Now we rely less on our imagination to complete the canvas. Every time a new generation of gaming beckons us, we rejoice and wonder at the prospect of that canvas getting even larger as designers harness better tools to explore what was previously impossible. Graphics. So many gamers exclaim and point to it. We did it as children and we do it now as adults. The visual splendor of gaming experiences. It's one of the principal ways in which we observe technological progress. But are we heading in the right direction? What is the right direction? Many developers pursue photorealism to make it harder to distinguish our real world from the digital one. It's a noble pursuit in many ways, I guess, so that we can better explore our very complicated world, or at least be more inclined to feel strongly about what we experience. But if gaming is a form of escape, why tether ourselves to our cage? What about diversity and splendor? This is where concerns regarding the mass adoption of the latest Unreal Engine come in. Will it cause our game worlds to look very similar for the sake of convenience? It appears to me that smaller outfits, what we call indie developers, are more exploratory despite the obvious real-world limitations they face. If only the larger development houses had the same appetite, but I cannot see it, for as much as I try. There are some who seek to push and explore, but with reassurances to the masses of familiarity to avoid the risk of alienation. But visuals are only a small part of the puzzle. I think developers underestimate the innate desire of many for the unfamiliar. Just look at Elden Ring, a title considered niche ripe until its launch. We observe the masses rush into a genre unknown to them. Why? I like to think it's because deep down, we yearn for the unknown. We are inquisitive in nature, and many great minds in our history have often been defined by their curiosity. The sooner we move away from the tried and tested templates, the better. These templates rely on our behavioral conditioning, stemming from our day-to-day programming. But if we can withstand the fear of the unknown, you will surely be rewarded, at least with some originality. And then there's something we innately fear, but its advancement will elevate gaming to a whole new level. AI. We are hurtling towards a new age despite our fears of it. Advanced artificial intelligence is seeping into our realm, including our art and workflow. In gaming, the canvas cannot be complete until we tap into its potential, and true AI will make the world much more believable. Digital renditions having a personality beyond what we expressly grant them. Imagine, it's the area that has been woefully stagnant, but I believe the change is coming. It is inevitable. Whole worlds populated by several strands of inquisitive code, all passing the Turing test with ease. It's a delightful yet frightening prospect, no? What if they share our curiosity, and how far do we limit them? Is our enjoyment in gaming dependent on them being tightly controlled, purposely limited and dull? AI, whilst admittedly the biggest challenge, is still far too underdeveloped in gaming, and the disparity between what our game worlds look like and the behaviors of NPCs within them is jarring. It serves to undermine the prospect of immersion. And what of true immersion? Despite the promises of ever more complicated and better realized worlds, should our experiences really be limited to a few buttons and analog sticks? How can we truly experience something we can barely feel? Depriving ourselves of one of our core senses when diving into a world may in many ways operate as a safety pin, but also does a disservice to what we interact with. There is another barrier that the future of gaming can do away with, and that is the flat, two-dimensional space that we stare at intently when we play. Virtual reality holds the key for tearing down that barrier, and we should not scoff at the early efforts of those that dare to try bring us closer to digital symbiosis. Hope, concern, excitement and intrigue, all signs of a healthy medium. Gaming is maturing, and the prospect of what is to come is exciting despite the challenges. Developers should be held in reverence for their ability to create the worlds that we inhabit, but also routinely questioned to see if the inquisitive nature of man isn't compromised by the necessity of market forces. Mass consolidation indicates the need for the few to control the many, but this industry has shown that, at its core, it is steered by gamers whose sentiments cannot be disregarded. Gaming is art, after all, and what a wondrous form of expression. Let it thrive in the way that it should, and let its benefactors remain firm in identifying its value and then ferociously safeguarding the essence of it. There are so many different ways this can play out, and I remain hopeful that the roads we take will one day lead us to gaming nirvana.